So
Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Josh Eldridge, and welcome to the HVTV1 show. This is the Thursday Night Volleyball Showdown. I'm here with HVTV1 broadcast crew's own Moshe Lilgian. First league match of the season for the Hidden Valley Mustangs and the Klamath Union Pelicans. The two-time reigning Skyline Conference champion Mustangs look to get their season started right here on HVTV1.com. When we return, we'll give you a look back at last year's season, a look around the league this year, and of course, the first serve of the Skyline Conference season. Stay tuned as the My Circle K pregame show continues live on HVTV1.com.
You'll save every time you shop at Bi-Mart. This week, stock up for less. Tide liquid laundry detergent is on sale, now $14.99. Hunt's snack pack pudding is now 89 cents each. Van Camp's baked beans are 99 cents a can. And Nichols Farms California pistachios are $9.99 for a 2-pound bag. Save with our everyday low membership pricing on these name brands and more at your Northwest-grown, employee-owned Bi-Mart in Star, Cuna, and now open in Caldwell.
Welcome back to the My Circle K pregame show live on HVTV1.com. We're getting closer to the opening serve of this Skyline Conference season, but first, let's take a look at where these two teams finished last year. The Mustangs finished first place in the Skyline again last year, having done it in 2016 as well as tying for first in 2015 with the Henley Hornets. In the OSA State playoffs, the Mustangs, they finished in third place after beating Tillamook 3-0. And if you'll remember, Sisters would go on to win that tournament 3-1 over Valley Catholic. For the Lady Pels, it was a different story, but not an unfamiliar one. Again, the Lady Pels have missed the playoffs for 10 plus years in a row. Finishing middle of the pack in the Skyline is in the last 5 years. Their record against Skyline opponents is 11-39, and they've not beaten the Lady Stangs in the past 5 years. Definitely going to be an uphill battle for them. So we take a look around the league tonight. There are other Skyline Conference teams starting off their season as well. Phoenix High School travel to Klamath Falls tonight as they kick their season off against the Henley Hornets. The Hornets are 1-0 in the Skyline, having beaten North Valley in Merlin. North Valley Knights, they're also set to travel to Klamath Falls as they are to do battle with the Vikings of Mazama High School. Finally, as we take a look at our OSA top 10 teams right now in the 4A. Number 1 is Cottage Grove. They are 7-1 on the season so far. On Tuesday, they actually beat Hidden Valley 3-0, and tonight they're at Swiss Law. Number 2 is Sweet Home. They are also 7-1 in the 4A. They play Cascade tonight. Number 3, Marshfield, 9-0 against Junction City. Number 4, Estacada, they are 3-2. They play Banks in Banks tonight. LeGrand is 5-1. They are facing a team to be decided tomorrow afternoon at a tournament at at Baker High School. As we round out the bottom 5 in the 4A, it's Philomath, Hidden Valley at 7th. At 8th, it's Valley Catholic. Number 9 is Seaside, and 10 is Banks. And Klamath Union, you might wonder where they're placed. They're 13th, so not too far out of the top 10 in the league thus far. And as well as we take a look around the league tonight, again, we mentioned that the other Skyline Conference games going on. And again, that's Henley, or rather, this is next Tuesday. That's Henley. They travel here to Hidden Valley. North Valley, they go to Klamath Union. They face the Lady Pels. And finally, Mazama goes to face the Phoenix Pirates. And we're getting closer to the first serve of the new season here in the Skyline Conference. The Hidden Valley Mustangs, they're going to do battle with the Klamath Union Pelicans. Stay tuned as the My Circle K pregame show comes to a close. We get set for the first serve on HVTV1.com. Welcome back to the Bimart Game of the Week on HVTV1.com. Of course, this broadcast is brought to you in part by Southern Oregon Sanitation for recycling, yard debris, and solid waste disposal. Southern Oregon Sanitation is your full-service transfer station, open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., located at 1381 Redwood Avenue in Grants Pass. Again, time is winding down here in the pregame. The first serve of the Skyline Conference season coming up between the Hidden Valley Mustangs and the Klamath Union Pelicans. Again, the Hidden Valley Mustangs, they're heavy favorites coming into this one. Pelicans haven't beaten the Stangs in the past 5 years, but first, before we get into it, I'd like to welcome my broadcast partner in this one, part of last year's HVTV1 broadcast crew. Moshe, why don't you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Hey guys, it's good to be back here. My name is Moshe. Last year I helped out with a lot of the games that we did, and I'm very excited to be here to kick off our Skyline Conference as Hidden Valley versus the Pelicans. This should be an interesting matchup today. Let's see how the season starts and how it progresses.
Now again, you were with us here last year. You watched, we did a couple volleyball games last year, not too much, but this season, we're going to try to cover all the football, all the volleyball. And whether you're with us or not, you've been able to be in class with some of these Mustangs. Have you been able to pick up on any of the attitude coming into this week and how the school is? It is back to school, and now that we're in full swing, do you think that has any effect on the outlook of these players?
Well, something that I've noticed from a lot of my classmates is a lot of the girls this year are seniors now and whatnot, so they are very dedicated to having a smash-packed season and trying to win as many as possible. And these ladies are very, very talented. A lot of them were here on the team last year, and last year's team did fantastically well. And so I am excited to see what they can do and what they can bring this year.
So yeah, those seniors coming back on that roster, that's really interesting, and especially if you look forward to next year, a lot of those seniors might be leaving the roster, but we don't want to focus too far ahead. But something that is new this year is Hidden Valley Mustangs' new head coach, Todd Lamaka. Again, Todd Lamaka, the new head coach for the Hidden Valley Mustangs. I talked to him a little bit this week in practice, and he is from around here. We didn't get to know too much about him before meeting him, but he is from Grants Pass. Not much prior coaching experience, but he is just as dedicated as anyone else coming into this season. Again, Hidden Valley, they're 2-2 coming into this one. They lost against Crook County and Cottage Grove. Crook County, that was back on the 6th of this month. They lost 3-2 against Crook County, and then against Cottage Grove on Tuesday, they lost 3-0. But Cottage Grove, again, they're in first place in 4A, and Crook County is a top 5A team. And even though they did lose those games, in an interview just this week, Coach Lamaka said he's not discouraged at all. They've played a couple of really good teams, and frankly, they just need to play their brand of volleyball, and they haven't been able to get quite in the swing of that as of recently. It is early in the season. They have a lot more to go, but tonight is where the games get real against the Skyline opponents. So again, they redid the clocks here, so about 5 minutes left until the first serve of the season. We'll be right back with one more extended version of the My Circle K pregame show. Again, this is the Bimart Game of the Week, and you're watching it on HVTV1.com. Welcome back to the Bimart Game of the Week on HVTV1.com. This game brought to you in part by Fields Ace Home Center. Fields Ace Home Center is HVTV1 is sponsored by Fields Ace Home Center, your hometown hardware store where you drive a little and save a lot. Fields Ace Home Center is open 7 days a week down in Murphy, Oregon. And we get close to this volleyball game. And this is a nice Thursday night inside Mustang Court in Murphy, Oregon. It's our first time inside in a while. We've been doing Mustang football. You can catch that here on HVTV1.com. The game tomorrow night, the North Valley Knights cross town in a Civil War matchup, the rivalry matchup that both teams love so much. Again, in that one, the Hidden Valley Mustang football team, they're 1-1. So an interesting matchup there in football. Again, you can catch that right here on HVTV1.com. But right now, we are focused on this game right here. Again, it's the Hidden Valley Mustangs and the Klamath Union Pelicans. Mustangs 2-2. And the Pelicans, they are 5-4 right now coming into this game. But again, Hidden Valley Mustangs, they are heavy favorites. The Pelicans haven't beaten the Stangs in the past 5 years, and only 11-39 against Skyline opponents in those 5 years. Haven't made the playoffs in 10 plus, and just frankly, they're the underdogs coming into this one. And Hidden Valley Mustangs, a team that finished 3rd place at the state tournament last year. Again, last year in the state tournament, let's see here, they beat Tillamook 3-0 to win 3rd place in the OSA state championships, and then Valley Catholic again. They would finish 2nd, rather. Sisters would go on to win that one 3-1 over Valley Catholic. So, you know, these teams, it seems to be a lot of the same teams every year. Volleyball is a sport where you got a good program, you stick to it. But one thing that's new about the Hidden Valley program this year, again, is the new head coach in Todd Lamica. You can see him back there pacing around the bench. Back there in the yellow shirt, try to give you a good shot. He is new to this team, replacing head coach Robert Jackson. So he is excited to get this league season started. Again, about minute 35 left before this game is set to start. And give you one more look about what's happening around the league tonight. So Phoenix High School, the Pirates, they're going over to Klamath Falls as they kick off their season. They're facing the Hanley Hornets for their first Skyline Conference game. Again, the Hornets, they beat North Valley in Merlin across town a few nights ago. But those Knights from Merlin, Oregon, they're going to Klamath Falls as well. They're playing the Mazama Vikings, a team which surprisingly low in the OSA rankings. They are dead last in volleyball, but a team that's good in other sports, so definitely don't get your impression from just one sport here in the Skyline Conference. All these teams are elite in all different places. We're just under a minute left before the first serve of the season. We're going to take one last break on the My Circle K post-game show. You're watching the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com.
You'll save every time you shop at Weimar. This week, stock up for less. Tide liquid laundry detergent is on sale, now $14.99. Hunt's snack pack pudding is now 89 cents each. Van Camp's baked beans are 99 cents a can. And Nichols Farms California pistachios are $9.99 for a 2-pound bag. Save with our everyday low membership pricing on these name brands and more at your Northwest-grown, employee-owned Weimar in Star, Cuna, and now open in Caldwell.
Welcome back to the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. This broadcast is done, of course, along with the HVTV1 New Age Media class here at Hidden Valley High School, taught, of course, by Christopher Pendleton and Jay Reese. Coming with me from that class, or rather from that class last year, is Moshe. Again, he's been here before, but not in quite a while, ready to get his feet wet again, I guess you could say.
I'm looking forward to tonight. Of course. It's going to be an interesting matchup between the Pelicans and the Mustangs, and I am ready to see who will win this and how we will set the tone for the rest of our season, and of course how they will set the tone.
And that's actually a really good point. Something, especially in the Skyline Conference, almost in every sport really, you have one or two teams good in every sport, and how important that first game of the season is. Especially in something like volleyball, Henley's a good team. And then you have teams, any number of teams can finish in 3rd place. This Klamath Union team, they're a team that could very well finish in 3rd place, as well as the North Valley Knights as well. But the first game of the season, you can often tell a lot by how the season is going to go by the first game of the season. And so far, again, this isn't traditionally the first game of the season. It's the first game of the Skyline Conference season. So really this is where standings start to kick in and all of that good stuff and dictate who goes to the OSA state playoffs. And We should be getting really close to serve here. Again, these clocks keep resetting in the arena, so sorry if we sound like we're wasting time, which in fact is exactly what we're doing. But as you see the Mustangs team, they get ready to, well, actually, they're warming up right now on the field, and we'll give you a rundown of their roster. Annabelle Brown, a junior. Taryn Powers, she's a freshman, so a freshman on this roster. There's actually two of them. She's joined by Joanna DeVos. Olivia Jackson, Grace Landis, they're both seniors. Jocelyn Nichols is a junior, along with Brooklyn Orban, she's a junior as well. Trina Toth, she's a senior. Janelle Hurley, a senior. Elizabeth DeVos, she's a junior. And then finally, the last two seniors on this roster is Rachel Polster and Hallie Jesse. Again, coached by Todd Lamica and Brooke Lamica, the two new coaches Hidden Valley has going into this season. It's going to be an interesting one, and they're in for the long haul, these Mustangs. But again, in an interview, Coach Lamica said they haven't really gotten to play their brand of volleyball yet, the kind that they've been practicing. They've played two very, very good teams in Crook County and Cottage Grove. Two very good teams, and they're not to be messed with. So hopefully tonight against a team, I don't want to say too much, but maybe of less pedigree than the Mustangs. Hopefully they get into their swing and can play their brand of volleyball.
It's going to be exciting to see what this new coach brings to the team.
Yeah, that is an interesting point. We saw, I believe last year, basketball team had a new head coach. Ladies basketball team had a new head coach, and Coach Jesse. And that completely flipped around their program. I mean, 10-0 in the Skyline. They'd go on to the state playoffs and they'd go 0-2. They'd go right out, but still an impressive performance in the season. So, you have as a team a way you want to play, the players, but a new coach comes in, maybe has some new ideas, and it can really change the shape of how this team works. And, for Hidden Valley, they might not want to change too much, because, they finished in the Skyline first place the past couple years, but maybe a new way to look at things, would you say?
Certainly. I would say that what we have here is a well-oiled, well-greased machine of a team. I mean, a lot of these people who were playing on this team were people that were doing it last year. And last year, I mean, the results speak for themselves. They did phenomenal last year. And I know that, there is a lot of that spirit of like, let's win big this year, because there's a decent roster of them that are seniors, and as seniors, you want to go out with a bang. So
yeah, of course, it's your last year.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm really excited to see what that's gonna do with them as a team. Where they're gonna go, how hard they're gonna play, and how determined they are to win big this season.
Well, speaking of seniors on this roster, one of the seniors who left from last year, Hannah Hayes, on to Lane Community College, and she's tearing it up over there. She's she's made the Twitter page twice. They have her picture up there, and she's killing it up at Lane Community College. So we wish the best to graduated Hidden Valley Mustang Hannah Hayes. Again, last year we did one volleyball game.
Yeah.
She spiked it right in one of the faces of the Mazama players, and we had quite the reaction, if you remember, Moshe.
Yeah, that was pretty intense. Yeah, I think our nickname for her was the Hammer, because she would just smash that ball into the
I'm pretty sure
crowd.
you coined that one, Moshe.
Yeah, that was, that was probably me. But yeah, so it's going to be an interesting mix, because they've had players that have been on the team from that older crew of experienced players, last 3 years, and then they've also been training up their rookies and whatnot from last season. And so I'm pretty excited to see this interesting mix of like old and less old. I mean, we're not old, obviously, we're in high school, but you know what I mean, like, of course, it's interesting to see what tactics and what playing style they're going to have this year.
Well, I think to add to that, we touched on the graduating senior Hannah Hayes. More seniors that left last year, ones that come to mind: Melanie Buchanan, Sage Brashears, Sierra Westling, Hannah Hayes. There's 4 right there. There's probably more that I can't think of right now. However, big names from that volleyball team last season, and one particularly focused on Sierra Westling, winning Athlete of the Week here in Hidden Valley last season.
Indeed,
and that's definitely a big loss, but now it's up to these seniors coming in this year to be the new leaders of their team and eventually make a new face for Mustang volleyball, or at least stay consistent with how they've been doing throughout the state.
Oh, definitely. They already have a face for themselves. You know, I know that they're very determined. They're a very driven group of young ladies, and you know, I know that they're gonna totally destroy it tonight. You know, they're good players. They're committed players. You know, I see a lot of them in my classes. They're athlete material. What can I tell you? They're driven. They want to get things done, and you know, they're going to give it their all this season.
Of course, yeah. And you know these players better than me this year. You know, maybe I had some insight last year that I don't have now. Again, I graduated last year. Moshe's still in Hidden Valley High School, so maybe he can provide some insight for us throughout the night, as that sounds like it should be the last buzzer finally. Again, we've been stalling for quite a while, and we tried to bring you the best pregame show we could, but I'm fairly certain it just turned into rambling there. So as PA announcer comes on, we get set to bring you the starting lineups for both the Hidden Valley Mustangs and the Klamath Union Pelicans. Looks like we got one last buzzer to go before the starting lineups. I'll give you again an idea of how this Hidden Valley roster shapes up as we take a look at them now. In Annabelle Brown, a junior. Taryn Powers, a freshman. Olivia Jackson and Grace Landis, both seniors. Jocelyn Nichols and Brooklyn Horban, both juniors as well. Trina Toff, a senior, coupled with Janelle Hurley, a senior as well. Joanna DeVos, a freshman. Elizabeth DeVos, the junior. Rachel Polster and Hallie Jesse, both seniors. Again, that's 6 seniors on this roster within Valley Mustangs. So 6 people not on this team last year, and Moshe touched on it just a little bit, is about how hungry these girls must be to finish better than 3rd place this year, as the past couple years Hidden Valley's finished 3rd place, and you know, there's definitely room to improve there. Not much room to grow, but there is some, as there's always that 1st place state championship in the 4A OSA state tournament, as everyone's warming up right now, and hopefully we don't get deked out with this buzzer one last time. Again, this is our first night doing volleyball, still getting the hang of everything, but want to watch a good show, go check out Hidden Valley versus North Valley football tomorrow night on HVTV1.com or on YouTube, HVTV1 Student News, where you're watching this right now. But first tonight, the opening game of this Skyline Conference season, again between the Hidden Valley Mustangs and the Klamath Union Pelicans. So looks like this one.
I think this is for real now.
You think? Well, we can only hope, because we've been stalling for quite some time.
Yeah, that has not been the best, but hey, we're doing our best to keep you guys entertained tonight. Hopefully you enjoy it.
I think it's the best we can do.
Yeah. No, we can do better.
Well,
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, for our Skyline matchup tonight versus the Klamath Union Pelicans and your Hidden Valley Mustangs. Let's meet the starters for the Klamath Union Pelicans. Libero number 1, a senior, Maya Phelps. A senior captain number 2, Elise Engelstetter. Junior, number 3, Ashley Nielsen. A senior, number 6, Lulu Taylor. A senior, number 7, Ayala Paulus. A senior, number 8, Tori Carlson. And a senior, number 14, Sabrina Gupta. Head coach is Kailani Bautista, the Klamath Union Pelicans. And now, the Hidden Valley Mustangs. A senior, number 3, Olivia Jackson. freshman, number 8, Johanna Davos. And a sophomore, number 9, Elizabeth Davos. And a senior, your captain, number 11, Hallie Jesse. Head coach, Tom Lavica, your Hidden Valley Mustangs. Will you remain standing for the playing of our national anthem? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first round of Skyline volleyball play.
There you heard the starting lineups for both teams as we get set for the first serve of the 2018 season. Doing the PA announcing is Athletic Director and Vice Principal Executive Producer of HVTV1, Brian Miller. Again, the captain of the Hidden Valley team, Hallie Jesse. She and her girls ready to get started. So up front for the Mustangs is Hallie Jesse, Grace Landis, and let's see.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, tonight's broadcast of tonight's game is on.
So again, up front, Hallie Jesse, Grace Landis, and Elizabeth DeVos. Behind her, that's Olivia Jackson, Janelle Hurley, and Brooklyn Horban. We're starting 6-4 Hidden Valley. Flip the page over, and we look at the starting roster for the Klamath Union Pelicans. Best we can tell, Elsie Engelstetter, Lulu Taylor, and number 8, Tori Carson. Behind her, Serene Gupta, Maya Phelps, and Ashley Nielsen. Starting lineups for both teams. So it looks like we're just about set to get started. So again, back to serve, that's Ashley Nielsen. for Klamath Union as we get set for the first serve of this brand new Skyline Conference season. So much potential for both teams, but again, only one team come out in front tonight. The Pelicans haven't beat Hidden Valley in 5 years, and it'll be interesting to see what they can do against this Mustang team, who again is the reigning third place champions in OSA. The setup, and it's just dumped off for the first point of the season by Elizabeth DeVos. That's a great way to get the game started for the Mustangs. Just, maybe just faked them out there, and DeVos just dumped it off.
Indeed. And Hallie Jesse serves. And it stays on the Pelican side, and it goes down. And that looks like another point for Hidden Valley.
Quick 2-0 start for the Mustangs. Again, that might have been an error on the Pelican side. But either way, it still works out.
And Hallie Jesse serves again. As the Pelicans struggle to get it back.
That was a great save, though, by Nielsen.
Indeed. And Grace Landis slams it over. Pelicans send it right back. And it looks like that'll be a point for the Pelicans.
I believe so. Had something to do with the way DeVos hit that ball potentially, maybe close-handed.
It looks like the Pelicans will serve this one. They send it over. Picked up by Hallie Jesse. Elizabeth DeVos sends it over, and it looks like a point for Hidden Valley, who now leads the Pelicans 3-1.
That's the second time that they've set DeVos up for something big, and she just dumps it off. She just puts her hand right on that volleyball, and it just kind of floats off her hand right down there, and they expect a spike, and it never comes. Landis back to serve that time, and that one, a nice save by Gupta, but all for naught as that one ends up going out of bounds. It'll be a point for the Mustangs.
I think we better come up with some creative nicknames this year.
What did you think? You came up with the hammer last year.
Yeah.
That's about the extent of our creativeness from last year.
Yeah, pretty much. And Grace Landis serves it over, and it looks like it'll be a point for the Pelicans because it was out of bounds. And the Pelicans serve it.
Back there, that's Lulu Taylor, I believe. It is, but really don't matter too much as that one goes out of bounds. I believe it'll be a point for the Lady Stings. It is 5-2.
Just a little bit too far.
Too much mustard on that one.
Indeed. It looks like Elizabeth DeVos is going to serve this one. She hits it off.
Gupta sets it up. That was a nice block by Hurley, but
good save by Landis.
Gupta setting it up again.
Just a touch over on the Pelican side, and Mustangs keep it in the air, send it back. However, it looks like it'll be a point for the Mustangs.
That was a great job by Janelle Hurley to stop that spike coming in from Elsie Engelsetter, but Mustangs get the point. Still back to serve is DeVos as that one goes over. Nice save by Phelps. Nice hit by Palace, but hit too hard. 7-2, a great start for the Mustangs, leading by 5. Again, first one to 25 in each set. First one to 3 sets. The Mustangs out to a good start as they lead by 5 early.
Indeed.
Popped up. Gupta hits it over her head. A nice job.
Nice save by DeVos. Hidden Valley sets it back over. And the Pelicans try to tip it, but it is blocked by Hidden Valley, and that leads to another point for Hidden Valley, leading the Pelicans 8-2.
That was the junior Brooklyn Horban with the good awareness there, just getting up to the ball in front of the net and just blocking that one from going over. Good awareness. That one, DeVos can't quite make it over the net, so it'll be a point for the Lady Pelicans. Something you don't see too often, but it happens. You try to serve it, doesn't quite go over.
Indeed, indeed.
Coming in for the Pelicans is Grace Girdner, a sophomore.
Pelicans send it over to Hidden Valley's side. Chris Lanza pops it up.
Nice save by Phelps. She's playing back there and has been getting everything, not letting anything get past her. Good awareness by the Mustangs, not letting anything drop. Gupta sets it up for the third time in this bout. And I believe
that is a point for the Pelicans?
Yeah,
yes.
That'll be a point for the Pelicans. I'm trying to figure out the ruling, but I'm fairly certain that Hallie Jesse touched the net. 8-4. Mustangs leading, but Pelicans not letting them get too far out in front as the serve goes over, and Grace Lane is back there with the save. A nice play there, but all for naught as Hallie Jesse, she ends up going down on her knees for that one, trying to save it. She does, but no one was there to help her out.
And the Pelicans take another point, with Hidden Valley now leading by 3 points.
So an attempted spike, but just staying up front there was, I believe that was Grace Gerdner, the substitute coming in for the Pelicans, and now Mustangs only lead by 2, but you know, I don't think any team's going to run away with this one yet. I mean, Pelicans have momentum, but last year we saw this many times. It's there's a lot more game left to play, I should say, in this first game as Janelle Hurley couldn't quite get that one over. So Pelicans within 1 now, but momentum definitely a big factor in this one. So that's 4 straight. Well, 4 straight ends right there as the Mustangs, they get a point.
And they now lead 9-7.
Serve comes over. Gupta been setting her team up, but tripping off the back of her was, I believe that was Englesetter.
As Grace Landis sets it over, Mustangs take another point, and they now lead 10-7.
Good job by Landis there. She put it right in front of the Klamath Union player. Couldn't quite catch who that was, but a good job.
And it looks like Polster will serve. Sends it over to the Pelican side. She pops it up. And Landis
unlucky.
Up, and nobody dives in.
That was just frankly unlucky. I mean, that hit the rafters right off the Landis. It just went straight up and took a bad hop off the rafters here at Mustang Court. And now Mustangs only lead by 2, 10-8 the score.
Might be a closer game than people think. However, let's see where this one goes.
I guess the Mustangs get right back with one off the rafters. Is that one Gupta tried to set it up, but off the rafters it goes. And we've seen that twice now. I wonder how much of a factor that's going to play later, as that is one cheap way to get a point. I mean, there's nothing you can do about it, but it is definitely annoying if you're the team that goes against.
Indeed. It can really mess up your ball game.
Olivia Jackson, nice hit, set up. DeVos had a good touch there, but all for naught is Olivia Jackson coming back with that one. Jessie, another point for her.
Sets it over and leaves the Pelicans scrambling on the floor. Weren't quite able to save that one, as the Mustangs now lead 12-8. Pelicans set it up.
Nice save back there by Phelps.
Pelicans lightly push it over. And Grace Landis sends it back on the Pelican side, but it looks like that'll be a point for the Pelicans as it was out of bounds.
Now Landis hit that one a bit too hard. Unfortunate, as that was a good play by her, but still a point for the Pelicans regardless. Is coming in, I believe that's, let's see, Tori Carson coming in for the Klamath Union Pelicans.
She sends it over. Pelicans pop it up, try to send it over, but it looks like the Mustangs aren't quite giving up on that one. Send it back over to the Pelicans, and then
nice save by Jessie. She's playing up front there.
Polster keeps it in. The Mustangs send it back to the Pelicans, and the Pelicans hit it back. This one's an interesting one.
Wow. And what I'm noticing right now is both teams are reading each other perfectly, and I believe that was a save by Trina Toth. Amazing.
Did not expect that one.
Oh, man. Right off the back of Rachel Polster, but if we had instant replay, you'd definitely bring it back on that Trina Toth dive. She dove, she laid it all out in the line for that one.
That was an incredible save on her part.
12-10 now the score. Oh, and set up, scooped up. With that one, nice spike, and I believe, did it hit the ground? I guess it did. Jackson couldn't get all the way over to that one, and now the Pelicans within one. So one thing I'm noticing early, though, is that, and the same thing we noticed last year, is that Mustangs, they got a lot of different variations of what they want to do. As Grace Landis that time up front, but in the back, Trina Toth.
Saved that one again. Nice job on her part.
Phelps got it over, but a great save. And now Jackson.
Polster.
Finally, another point, but as I was saying, though, is you noticed a lot of flexibility coming out from the Hidden Valley side. I mean, we saw Polster come all the way close to us, been able to make that play. Trina Toth earlier making that play, and even Olivia Jackson sitting in the back with the awareness. A lot of good team play coming out from the Mustangs, and even so, the Klamath Union Pelicans, what I'm noticing from them is a lot of the same plays. They're having Gupta up front. I guess a point for the Stangs, but you're having Gupta up front setting up the same two players in the person of Ingolstetter and Paulus, and those are only two girls making plays, it seems, for the Pelicans. So interesting to keep your eye on those two players and whether or not they're able to keep up their level of consistency, as they were within one, but now they're back by 3, 14-11 your score.
Let's see if Hidden Valley figures out their strategy and uses it against them. As Hidden Valley, as the Pelicans, sorry, now close that gap by 2.
So now back to serve for the Pelicans. Ashley Nielsen got a couple points under her belt. She served to start the game for the Pelicans.
Sends it high in the sky. Elizabeth DeVos sends it over. Gupta tries to save, but nada, as the Mustangs now are 15-12.
10 more to close out their first game, and a sub coming in, as I believe Polster takes a seat and Elizabeth DeVos comes in.
As Jesse sends it over, Pelicans set up.
Jackson sets up DeVos, but a good stop up front. Gupta again sets up Ingolstetter. And this good hit. She gets out of the way fast for DeVos to hit one over, but goal for naught. Then we're in for one of these long ones.
It's exciting, fast play.
Well, then it's just heartbreaking to lose it. Oh my goodness, and I thought they would have
yeah.
saved that one, but a point goes for the Mustangs. And that would have been something if they were able to bring that one back. The only bad part is once you hit it, you can't hit it again until it goes back over, so you end up running out of options later that goes.
I know. It's nuts to watch this, to see how those pan out. Although it looks like Pelicans weren't quite able to save that one, as Hidden Valley now leads 17-12.
I remember doing these games with you last year, and we came up to volleyball, and we're like, really? We're going to do volleyball? And you know, people who say it's not exciting really don't know what they're talking about. This is one of the more exciting sports that we've done so far. But there's timeout on the court. Score is 17-12. There's about 52 seconds remaining in this timeout. We're going to step aside. You're watching the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. Welcome back to the Weimar Game of the Week on HVTV1.com. Tonight's event is sponsored by Burger Kings of Southern Oregon. Since 1954, our flame-grilled, freshly prepared tradition goes into every order from Burger Kings of Southern Oregon.
Looks like Hallie Jesse will serve this one on the Mustang side. Getting all pumped up.
17-12 your score as that one goes over from Hurley, but it goes way too hard as that one ends up going out the door of the gym. We talked about it a little bit. These Pelicans haven't beaten Hidden Valley in the past 5 years, and last year both those games went 3-0 in the favor of Hidden Valley. So we might have counted the Pelicans out a little bit. I mean, they're still behind here, and they go behind by another point, but I'm still relatively impressed, I would say. I mean, I definitely didn't expect them to hang tough with these Mustangs.
Indeed.
But here they are, and it's quite interesting to see how resilient they are.
Indeed, it seems like they're at least giving them a run for their money. Keeping the score pretty decently tight, honestly. Not trailing by a large margin, although it looks like that'll be another point for the Mustangs.
This is Hidden Valley's biggest lead of the night in 6 points. But they've been as close as within 1. I mean, of course, besides the 0-0 tie, of course, but they've been within 1 twice. But not able to pull it off past that as Phelps uncharacteristically pushes it over, but Hurley sets it up. Sorry, that was Jesse setting it up for Hurley. And
it looks like the Mustangs are now have a fairly confident 7-point lead. It's going to be interesting. What I've noticed is, at least this set, you know, they've kept it reasonably close until roughly now. But I think the main factor of tonight is going to see who can do the best in the marathon. Because that's the thing, is the game is a marathon. It's not necessarily about how you start. I mean, that is a very important factor, but
that's true. That's true, and I think that's a very good point. Is that they've up until now, I mean, the lead of 8 points, and they were within 1. The Klamath Pelicans, they were within 1, and now Hidden Valley, like you said, they're winning the marathon, at least in this first game, as they've pulled out to quite a reasonable lead.
It's going to be interesting to see whether this is where the Pelicans start to get tired and kind of trail off towards the next 2 sets, or if this is where the Mustangs use a lot of their energy and momentum and get tired in the next 2 sets. I'm curious as to the results. With
the score 22-13, there's another timeout on the court. We're going to take that break as well. You're watching the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. Welcome back to the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. Timeout time just about winding down. Again, the Hidden Valley Mustangs, they lead by 9, 22-13 the score in Game 1 here at Mustang Court. First game of the Skyline Conference season. Grace Landis back to serve for the Mustangs.
A little bit of our student body for you. They enthusiastically come out to many Mustang events and support our teams.
I must say, one of the best things about that was being a Mustang here at Hidden Valley, the student sections were always loud.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, even when our football team was a little bit questionable last year, I mean, we had a lot of kids come out, and that's some dedication. Now that our football team is doing very well, at least so far this year, those games are only going to get louder. Here in the court, in the gym here, it's going to get louder as we move towards playoffs, and of course basketball. But these students, they get loud.
Well, it looks like that'll be a point for the Pelicans. You know, funny you mentioned about being a Mustang. You never stop being a Mustang.
You know what? I can respect that.
30 years from now, you're going to be looking back and remember, this is what being a Mustang stands for.
This is it.
This is the peak of what being a Mustang is. And it looks like Elizabeth DeVos will send it over for us, as the Mustangs are 1 point from winning this set. So you can hear our student body, and she sends it over, and it looks like that'll be a point for the Pelicans.
So 24-15. Hidden Valley, they're within 1 of ending Game 1, 1 point away. Pelicans are going to have to scratch and claw back into this one. They're down by 10.
Hidden Valley sets it up, sends it over. Pelicans try to send it back, but they hit the net as Hidden Valley wins the first set 25-15. I'd say that was honestly a pretty close set except for the last couple minutes.
Well, yeah, I mean, you mentioned who wins the marathon versus who wins, just the first few rounds. I mean, it was close. It was close. They were within one. The Pelicans, they came close a couple times, but in the end, the Mustangs win 25-15 in game one. Again, they need to grab 2 more to win the match, but right now there's a timeout on the court, and we're going to take that one too. You're watching the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com.
Save every time you shop at Weimar. This week, stock up for less. Tide liquid laundry detergent is on sale, now $14.99. Hunt's snack pack pudding is now 89 cents each. Van Camp's baked beans are 99 cents a can. And Nichols Farms California pistachios are $9.99 for a 2-pound bag. Save with our everyday low membership pricing on these name brands and more at your Northwest grown employee-owned Weimar in Star, Cuna, and now open in Caldwell.
Welcome back to the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. What you just witnessed, the 25-15 victory for Hidden Valley. Again, they have to do it 2 more times, but a good start, of course. And if you're just joining us, this is the first Skyline game of the season for both of these teams, the Hidden Valley Mustangs versus the Klamath Falls Pelicans, the Skyline Conference meetup. Other games going around the conference tonight. We'll tell you a little bit about them more later. But right now we're focusing on this matchup right here. Again, they're in between matches right now. It's just a quick recap of what we just saw. And I think Moshe summed it up perfectly about halfway through that game. Is that Klamath Union Pelicans, they came out and they were playing good, but it's the same thing we saw last year and we're seeing here early on in the season at Mustang Court is that you can get close against the Mustangs, but as you get later and later and later into those games, they're just going to absolutely obliterate you, and they did there. And a win by 10 is definitely in convincing fashion. And if they're able to do it again, they might cement themselves as the team to beat again in the Skyline. Frankly, in my opinion, I already think they are, along with the Hanley Hornets. But it's going to be good to see this team progress, and tonight's going to be a story to tell.
I think it's going to be interesting to see if maybe that's one of the new coach's fundamental ideas about his team is the long game, going for the marathon or going for the sprint. I'm really curious, or maybe it's a combination. I know that these girls are pretty well conditioned, frankly, so, I don't know so much about the others because I don't go to school with them, honestly, but it's going to be interesting to see whether Hidden Valley, as the season progresses, not only this game, but until the end of the season, runs in a marathon or runs in the sprint, and, to see whether if they run in the sprint, if they can gain the decisive head early on or if they gain the decisive edge over time.
We saw it last year. They just did it over time. They had teams get close to them numerous times, but in the end it was always Hidden Valley, and they were able to beat a lot of those Skyline teams 3-0. And frankly, it might be what we see here, but I don't want to count the Pelicans out. They did have a good showing. It's just about outlasting the Mustangs, because frankly, we didn't see anything, any bad play, I guess you should say, from the Pelicans. They were very solid throughout that game. It's just that the Mustangs outlasted them and kept that momentum for the last 5 or so points of that game. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're able to bounce back or if the Mustangs are just going to keep running away with this one. But, I think the Pelicans might put up a fight in this second game now that they know what to expect in person, and they did play fairly well in that first game.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I was talking to Grace Landis the other day. I have her in my class, and she was telling me about the last game the Mustangs played, and even though they didn't exactly win that one, they were very close, throughout the whole game and whatnot, and that was one of the things that I noticed is they kept the score close. They kept it tight, they kept themselves disciplined. They're going for the end game is something that I'm noticing, and I'm interested to see where that's going to take them with this season, because outlasting can do great things to your chance at winning the season.
All right, so it looks like we're about to get started. And this is game 2. Hidden Valley won the first one 25-15. They got to do it 2 more times to take this match against the Klamath Union Pelicans. And it's going to be Hallie Jesse back there to start the serve. One thing I've noticed, at least with the Mustangs, what they're doing right now that Klamath Union isn't, that triangle up front with Grace Landis and Corbin and DeVos.
I think it's interesting formation.
Well, I think it's actually incredibly smart because, I mean, we saw what Janelle Hurley did twice last game. Is you get set up for that that spike. You lay down the hammer like you so famously said last year.
Yeah,
but in fact, you just dump it off, and that's what that triangle up front is for, is to stop that.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
it's incredibly smart in my opinion.
Yeah, it seems like it's very maneuverable. They can get to whatever places they need to very quickly. You know, if the ball comes back at them unexpectedly, but it looks like a very good offensive formation on the Mustangs' part. Looks like Hallie Jesse sets it up, and the Mustangs try to get that one over, but Pelicans now, for the first time, are in the lead.
Yeah, that was Lulu Taylor not letting that one get back over. She just let that one bounce off her hands, and that one ended up hitting the backboard a little bit harder than I think a lot of the Mustangs players thought it would, and that'll be an opening point for the Pelicans. We'll see if they can keep that momentum going. DeVos tried to lay down the spike. A good save by Olivia Jackson on the back end, but all for naught. Or rather, I guess they tied it. It looked like it was out of bounds, but that's why I'm not a referee. So, tie ball game. So Grace Landis going to be back to serve. Toth is out of the game, and I believe coming in is Janelle Hurley.
As the Pelicans sends it over, Hidden Valley sets up. Tries to smash it back over, doesn't exactly work. Round 2, and she spiked that right off her hand, and now the Mustangs take the lead into the second game, 2-1.
That was a good spike by Janelle Hurley as they waited a while to set that one up, and it looks like Gupta was just caught flat-footed as that one bounced right off of her knees.
That was a very effective play on Hidden Valley's part.
Gupta been setting up the entire game for the Pelicans. She's been just tossing up in the air like you saw Jackson do there, and no one can get to that one. Phelps, she threw her hand out, but to no avail. 3-1 the score. Landis still back to serve for the Mustangs.
Looks like the Pelicans send it back over. Olivia Jackson sets it up. As the Pelicans try to send it over, but they hit the net as the Mustangs lead 4-1. And I don't know if you can hear these guys, but this is the home team, the Mustangs, chanting up a storm. Well, they stopped chanting right as I pointed out, of course. But
another one in the rafters. Gupta, good job staying with it. Ooh, the point's coming over. That was an attempted play from Ingolstadt.
Right into that net.
Ingolstadt tried to make the play on that one, couldn't quite do it. It'll be a point for the Mustangs regardless.
Who now lead 5-1. And that's another point for the Mustangs. I think, yeah, it looks like the Pelicans are kind of having a little bit of trouble getting it over that net. Keep running into it.
Well, that wall up front, that trio in Hurley and the DeVos sisters has just been incredible.
And it looks like the Mustangs got another point. It looks like they're really pulling out for quite a bit of a lead here. Let's see how this goes.
So the timeout on the court, score 7-1. You're watching the Bi-Mart Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. Welcome back to the Bi-Mart Game of the Week on HVTV1.com. Broadcast brought to you by Oregon California Supply. It is your one-stop shop for your construction, logging, rigging, hose, and hydraulic lines and fittings, and fire safety equipment. Oregon California Supply next to Wild River Pizza in Grants Pass. 7-1 the score here at Mustang Court. And Mustangs won game one 25-15. So they look to get that 2-0 advantage moving into the third game.
And they're off to a pretty good start with the 7-1 lead as the Pelicans were struggling before we went to the break to get that over the net. Kept smashing into it. It looks like Hidden Valley sent that one a little bit too far out of bounds for the ref's liking, and the Pelicans will take a point.
So I was thinking during that break what the Pelicans could probably try to do to try to get back into this one. Again, they're not down by much. They're down by 5. But one thing I'm noticing is they're trying to set up. They're setting up a lot of these plays and grouped up front, setting up a lot of these plays. But in reality, what they need to be doing is just getting the ball over the net, like you said.
Yeah.
And if they're unable to do that, then all the setting up doesn't matter. And Hurley hitting that one just a tad bit too hard, but that's the point of the Mustangs, is they're able to push it over from anywhere on the court, and it looks like this Pelicans team is just trying to play too much setup, and they're playing a little bit too slow, and it looks like the Mustangs just have more energy, and I think that's something that we're going to have to look for.
That's another point to the Pelicans. Something that I noticed that they were slightly struggling with earlier. The Pelicans, their formation, they were setting up really, really close to the net. And what I noticed is the Mustang girls would read them every time, and when the Pelicans were really close to the net, the Mustangs would send it farther back. That was quite a good save, although it's still a point to the Pelicans.
So something said in that timeout must have flipped the script a little bit.
Yeah. Every time I try to tell them what I think, it just goes the opposite.
Well, that's 4 straight for the Pelicans coming out of that timeout. Maybe a little bit of fault from Hidden Valley as they've gone out of bounds a couple of times. And another one. So that was touching, I think up front that was DeVos touching the net, but now within one again. We'll see if the Pelicans can take back the lead in this one again. They got the early lead. They led 1-0, but Mustangs came right back. And we'll see if they can get this one over, but another one from DeVos.
It's like every time I try to say something about the analysis of this game, it goes the other way.
That's
just to mess with me.
That's called broadcaster's luck.
Yeah, exactly. You say one thing and the other happens.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I was worried about. I predicted Hidden Valley to probably win this game, and I mean they are, but it's not going exactly to plan, and I think that's apparent. I mean, a win is a win, but you also want to be able to play some solid volleyball.
Indeed. Well, I mean, this is very solid volleyball, I'd say, on both sides. I'd say it's just probably a little bit tougher than they expected.
I agree with you. I guess I misspoke there. Both teams are playing incredibly well,
but I am noticing that the Mustangs are able to take advantage of the Pelicans' weaknesses quite well. They're able to read when the Pelicans are a little bit too close to the net and send it a little bit farther. And when the Pelicans are a little bit farther, they're able to hit it right over the net. Although the Pelicans do take a point there, as the Mustangs now lead 10-7. A little bit more narrow than the beginning of this session.
Serve comes over. Landis stops it from hitting the ground. A set up for Landis. Phelps is back there, girl in the red shirt. She's been back there every single time. Just like Jackson, except that one went the wrong way. Definitely didn't go to plan. As now Pelicans there within 2. A lot of energy. I think a little bit more energy coming up from that Klamath Union Pelicans team. Every time they get a point, it's just an eruption. They're just so loud. And of course, we're loud too, but a lot of that's coming from the student section, and they're matching the decibel level.
Yeah, it's pretty surprising. I mean, it's great. I encourage, team spirit, team loudness. I just love hearing all the energy coming from both teams. I'm just a little bit not used to it, to be honest.
It's loud. I'm frankly surprised. Klamath Union, they're just as loud as the student section and the team combined. At least that's what we're hearing.
And they're loud. They're making noise. I mean, may the best man or woman win in this case. That could have ended very badly with some elbow bashing, but it looks like the Mustangs take a point. Yeah, I'm glad nobody fell on the ground.
Gardner just went straight into the net. I don't think she knew where she was. She just about face planted back there.
It's okay, I do that all the time.
You prepared for that? You think you go down there and play some volleyball, Moshe?
Yeah.
Oh! That was some intelligent play coming out from, I believe that's Michaela Gade. Just let that one get right past her, and she knew right where the outline was, and now it's 11-10. Mustangs only lead by 1.
Point to the Pelicans there.
Oh!
It looks like a point for the Mustangs. I'm noticing the Pelicans are so close.
They are. They really are.
Just taking the lead.
And plays like we just saw are the reason why they're not leading. These serves that go out of bounds, or these plays where maybe there's a miscommunication. I mean, we've seen a couple players end up down on the floor tripping over another one. It's just those little things that end up losing those rounds. A point for the Mustangs. But I think you're exactly right. They are right in this one. Just cleaning up those little mistakes in this game could completely turn on its head.
It's just costing them in the short term. I don't think it's an endurance question. I don't think it's an energy question. I think they're both putting a lot out there. It's just those little things. Where the Mustangs, I notice, are playing very tight game, although, Olivia Jackson on the ground. But it looks like that's a point for the Pelicans.
Laying it all out there. Jackson, she couldn't quite get to it, though. That's just disappointing. But you said it perfectly. It's not an endurance question, not an energy question. Definitely not an energy question with how loud they're being. I think it's just unlucky. I mean, we've seen about 4 or 5 plays where these rafters come into question. And, of course, that right there, the serve that's just hit too hard, it's just unlucky. I mean,
it's just costing them, yeah.
Exactly.
For once, we do have broadcasters.
But that's definitely not to take away from the Mustangs. I mean, they are taking advantage of these mistakes. I mean, you see right there, Trina Toth in the exact right spot on the good hit. But
yeah, the Mustangs are there to save it, there to keep the fight going, and it's just so desperate fighting by the Pelicans. Like, I can see it, and it's great. It's definitely still pretty much anyone's game, honestly.
Well, only ahead by 4 are the Mustangs, and you saw on that play right there a good setup coming out from Klamath Union, but DeVos was right there to stop it, and can't do anything about that. It was just good play. And again, she tried to get up, but instead that was Jessie making the play. Another play from Jessie.
Like I said, I think the Mustangs are kind of reading where they're at, where the Pelicans are at, as they're moving, and they can make choices like that, and it made that.
I think to put that into terms that at least are a little bit different than that, not to say that they're better or worse, but
certainly. Oh, is she okay? She really looks like she banged up her knee with that one.
I think what's happening is the Mustangs are playing more intuitive. They're just doing things on the fly a little bit better. Like you said, they're able to read. When in reality, what I touched on earlier for the Pelicans coming into the second game was that they're trying to set up too much. They're trying to develop the play a little bit too much, when in reality, the Mustangs are just taking points when they get them.
Exactly.
And, I think that's definitely something to keep an eye out for as well.
I think that's a very good point, Josh. Wow. That was a good play on the Pelicans' part, and that scream.
It's loud, I'm telling you. They're matching the student section and the team and all the fans in here. That's just the Klamath Union Pelicans team and the bench. That's it. That's all they have, and they are just as loud as anyone else.
When they call the American Revolution the shot that went around the world, that was the scream that went around the world, man. Pelicans are showing great energy. Oh, wow. Ooh, as they take another point. Oh, is she okay? Looks like Trina Toth just banged up her shoulder, man.
It's a good close game, and there's a lot of fight coming out from those Pelicans right about now. 16-14. Oh, you hate to see that. You really do.
Oh, man.
You really hate to see that. They're on such a good momentum. They're just riding the train.
I know.
It runs right into the net. It's just unfortunate.
It's like we want to see. Oh, man. I mean, I'm a fan of back and forth, honestly.
Oh, man.
So close. Oh.
It's like I find myself rooting for them to do well because it's just so much more enjoyable to watch. I want the Mustangs to win, obviously. I mean, they're my team.
Yeah.
But it's just they're getting so close, and you just want to believe just that much more. But And it's so close every time. 18-14 the score. That one hit off the rafters. Good save by Phelps. That one's popped up. Jesse to Landis, and Landis.
Nice block by the Pelicans who catch a point. Let's see if they can. Gosh, they are loud.
They are loud. My goodness.
Jeez, like, you know, they're probably half the size. I mean, less than our, and they're keeping up noise level, man. It's nuts. And that's another point for the Pelicans. I mean,
they're within 2 now, 18-16. The Mustangs, I don't think they're slipping. It's just more back and forth now than it ever was. And this is where we talk about where the Mustangs like to pull out in front is later on in the game. 18-16, this is where the Mustangs like to go on their string of 4 or 5 in a row and then close it out after about 10 rounds here.
Let's see how your broadcaster's luck goes, Josh.
Well, let's see. I mean, I just going off of what I've seen in the past. And Landis, he gets that one in the back corner. That'll be a point for the Mustangs.
Yeah.
So, hey, maybe it's going to work out the way I thought it was. But I don't want to talk too much. I'm not a predictor. I'm not very good at that stuff. So we'll just leave those to the other people that aren't you or me.
Yeah. Yeah, we're not your analysts.
I'm not a betting man. I'll tell you that much.
I mean, we can try to analyze, but honestly, the way this game is going, it's just. Oh, that was a beautiful
Devoshi saved that one. In the meantime, Hurley, she was able to get it back over. Incredible save by Jackson in the meantime as well. And that one popped straight up into the rafters, up against the light, and it rolls off the top. It's still a live ball. Oh my goodness, that was up in the lights.
And that's a point to the Pelicans after that spectacular play. The Mustangs saved it, and then it ran into the rafters. Oh, man, that was
absolutely incredible. I mean, that hit the light. You and I saw it. Maybe the camera didn't, but let me tell you, that hit the light. It balanced up on the light and came down, still a live ball, and the Pelicans come away with it. That is incredible stuff. 19-17 the score.
Oh.
Well, still, though, don't take away from that last play. They're within 3. The Mustangs still need 5 to win it, so by all means, the Pelicans are still very much in this game.
Definitely. It's just frustrating because I see this momentum like, oh, you know, and then just like little things like that,
like
for
that.
example.
Yeah, exactly. Gupta, she goes the wrong way. She tries to get back, can't get it in time. It's a point for the Mustangs.
I mean, it's so close, but it's just.
Yeah, exactly. So back to serve is DeVos. But before that, there's a timeout on the court. 21-17 your score in this incredibly close game 2 here at Mustang Court. Again, it's the Mustangs and the Pelicans. You're watching the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. Welcome back to the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. HVTV1 is sponsored by Fields Ace Home Center, your hometown hardware store where you drive a little and save a lot. Fields Ace Home Center is open 7 days a week in Murphy. And you know what else is happening in Murphy is this fantastic volleyball game right now. 21-17 the score between the Mustangs and the Pelicans. 4 points separate them, but this game is a lot closer than it seems. A great play by Landis there on the back end.
So many great saves we've seen on both sides in this game. It's just absolutely amazing. And that point goes to the Mustangs, who now lead the Pelicans 22-17.
So this is where the Mustangs, they like to run away with it, but I'm still not counting the Pelicans out from what we've seen. A save by Gupta!
Kept that alive. Wow, and let's see where this goes. Oh, and that's a point for the Pelicans. Wow, as they kept that one alive. See, that's what I mean. This game is just, oh.
And Hurley, she touched that one out of bounds. The point goes to the Pelicans, and little stuff like that. It's going to decide this game. I mean, they are 4 points separate these two teams, but this game, I mean, that's a close score by itself, but this game's a lot closer than the score is telling you.
It really is. It's nuts, man. Both teams are doing very, very well. As the Pelicans block it, but they tip it a little bit too much.
And that could have been an incredible play coming out from Klamath Union. Gupta, she touched that one and couldn't quite keep it in bounds, but a way to stop the spike at least. I mean, still a good play as now the Mustangs are within 2 of getting game 2 of this match. DeVos tried to hit the back corner of the end marker, but couldn't quite get there. She hit that one too hard. 23-19.
I'm telling you, this game is not as much a breakaway success as the last game was, and I'm kind of wondering what game 3 will entail. Wonderful save on the Pelicans' part. Hidden Valley tries to smash it over, and the Mustangs get the point. Looks like it's now game point. Let's see if the Pelicans can make a quick recovery or if the Mustangs will sweep game 2.
Certainly doable, but everyone here at Mustang Court going to get on their feet, because it is game point like you said.
Trina Toff serves.
Gupta saves that one, keeps it in bound, pushed over the net, and it's in bounds. A great play.
Point for the Pelicans.
Gerdner, good awareness there. She's able to bring that one back in the back corner after the setup by Gupta. Fantastic job. Gupta's back to serve now, 24-20. An exciting game for sure here at Mustang Court. This is game 2. Again, game 1 was a good game, not as exciting, 25-15, but still something to keep your eye on.
As the Mustangs send it over, that wins them game 2, 25-20. This was a lot closer and a lot more interesting than game 1, to be honest, but man, they have played hard.
And that's a little bit more of a heartbreaking loss for Klamath Union. We'll recap it when we come back. Again, now Hidden Valley leads 2-0 in this match. You're watching the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com.
You'll save every time you shop at Weimar. This week, stock up for less. Tide liquid laundry detergent is on sale, now $14.99. Hunt's snack pack pudding is now 89 cents each. Van Camp's baked beans are 99 cents a can. And Nichols Farms California pistachios are $9.99 for a 2-pound bag. Save with our everyday low membership pricing on these name brands and more at your Northwest-grown employee-owned Weimar in Star, Cuna, and now open in Caldwell. You'll save every time you shop at Weimar.
Welcome back to the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. The Hidden Valley Mustangs lead the Klamath Union Pelicans 2 games to none in this volleyball matchup. Here you see the Hidden Valley student section is they were loud just a second ago. Just to recap, if you're just joining us, Hidden Valley, they lead 2-0 in this game over the Klamath Union Pelicans. 25-15 in the first game. Hidden Valley ended up running away with that one in the end, going off and running a string of 5 in a row. They lost one in the middle there and finished off the game with a strong 2 sets. So then in the second game, a much closer story, 25-20, and Moshe and I couldn't believe that one. I mean, that one was close all the way through. Hidden Valley ended up winning by 5, but that could have gone either way, to be honest with you. Winning by 5, but still could have gone either way.
That game was incredibly close, and I'm really curious to see what happens with game 3.
I mean, both you and I, Hidden Valley fans, I mean, HVTV1, Hidden Valley New Age Media class, this is our team. We're supposed to be rooting for them, but I want to see a good, close game 3.
I really do, man. I mean, this is, the second game. They really stepped it up, they really showed what the Pelicans can do and whatnot, and I'm really excited to see whether it'll take the Pelicans to game 3, see whether they can keep some momentum or, just see how things play out.
Oh yeah, and I agree with you, especially, I mean, we saw definitely, it seemed like an entirely different team. I mean, they made less mistakes, the Pelicans did. They took a timeout right there in the middle and ran off a string of 6 in a row to tie up the game, or at least get close to tying up the game. I can't quite remember, but as we get set for this third and final game, or potentially final game, I should say.
Indeed.
I'm excited to see what the Pelicans have to offer against this this Mustang team. Again, the Mustangs, they are 7th in the state. The Pelicans, they are 13th. So definitely two teams to be reckoned with, at least statistically. But this Mustang team, they might have something up their sleeve here in the third game, and I'm excited to see what that is. So back to serve for the Pelicans. Let's try to get who that is. And I believe that's going to be Paulus, number 7. She is a senior.
Hidden Valley keeping their spirit strong. And of course, the Pelicans keeping their spirit strong as well. You know, they came all this way. You know, they put up the good fight in the second game. And I'm really curious to see what this game entails, whether it's going to make them, break them, you know.
I mean, I think I'm hoping for a close game, at least. And this one, starting out, Landis pops that one straight up top, sends that one over, but Phelps saves it in the back.
And Hidden Valley tips it, and the Pelicans gain a point.
So another opening point for the Pelicans, as they've gotten the opening point in 2 out of the 3 games thus far. But that was Engelstader with that one.
As Hidden Valley pops it in the air, sets up. Pelicans make a speedy recovery. And now he sets it up again. Pelicans keep it alive, keep it in the air. It goes up to Gupta and hits the net, giving Hidden Valley a point, tying the game up 1-1.
So they get right back into this one, 1-1 the score, and this is what happened last game. But in last game, right after this happened, Hidden Valley ran off a string of 7 in a row. So we'll see if they're able to keep that consistency, or if this is going to be back and forth right from the get-go, as Jesse hits that one good. Gupta sets it up. Engelstetter try to get some free points there, but all for naught. Landis off of Phelps, and she's just sitting back there. Phelps is a wall.
It looks like that one is just a little bit too far, and the Mustangs gain a point. And here's our student body. Fairly supportive, I'd say.
I mean, they've been loud, but not as loud as that Klamath Union team. And if you're wondering about the JV scores tonight, again, we haven't covered that yet. My apologies, but the Mustangs did win 3-0 over Klamath Union in fairly convincing fashion. And Pelicans only getting in double digits twice. Oh, and a great stop up front by Engelstetter. Gupta sets that one up in the back corner.
Point for the Pelicans. It certainly looks like this game will not be like game 2. They are keeping it pretty tight right from the get-go.
Right, exactly, right from the beginning. Again, that other game, or rather game 2 started out 7-1 in favor of the Mustangs. Jackson popping that one up. Jesse setting up.
If the Pelicans can game on this momentum and tie this up, we will see a very close, very quick game. However, it looks like Hidden Valley will get this one.
Up front playing real well for the Pelicans. That's Lulu Taylor. She's playing on the top of your screen back there. And she's been doing great up front, as well as number 2, Engelstetter, and Gupta up front, number 14. Engelstetter goes over the net. Jackson, she tried to save it. She does, but it goes nowhere, right into the ground, and now still hanging tough. 4-3 the score between the Mustangs and the Pelicans.
I'm really curious if the Pelicans can get a score above the Mustangs besides 1-0. You know, this game could be...
Well, they haven't taken a lead all night, like you said. I mean, their only lead is 1-0, and they've done that twice. But
exactly, so I'm really curious to see if they can get that right here or tie it up again.
Phelps setting it up. Gupta hits that one over her head. She's done that a couple times. A good play as Jesse sets up Hurley in the back corner. No.
Because something that I've noticed is, I think that honestly a large part of it is the Pelicans just lose their momentum and can't exactly sustain it. And that's where Hidden Valley comes back in and throws it out a couple points.
Well,
takes the
the
lead.
Mustangs, all of their points have come in momentum gains. Like you've said, they've gone 2 or 3 rounds in a row, and then the Pelicans get their one to stay close. the Pelicans are having trouble keeping this in their favor, and the momentum's going, you know? So it seems as if...
Yeah, the scoreboard's having a little bit of a freak out, but I think it's 5-4.
5-4 Mustangs. At least that's what we're getting the signal from our scores in the gym, and that one make it 6-4. I thought it was tied. I mean, we've been keeping track, but our score is saying
I know.
6-4.
I'm technical difficulty. Yeah. Maybe the ref said something. I don't know. Either way, it's still a very close, easy game. Not easy. Easy to say you don't know what's going to happen, but that's a point for the Pelicans. They are keeping this game tight.
They're keeping this game close, and it's interesting. You know, we've said it multiple times. We want the Mustangs to win, but I want a close game too. I want something to talk about. Blowout games aren't any fun, and this is fun.
Yeah, this is very, very fun. Hidden Valley will take the point here as they lead over the Pelicans 7-5.
Interesting call there. I thought that one bounced out of bounds, but I guess the point's going to go to Hidden Valley regardless. Back to serve.
As Polster sends it over the Pelicans. Howard Jesse sets out. And that looks like that is a point for the Mustangs.
Yeah, that'll be a point for Hidden Valley. That ball.
Personally, I thought that was out of bounds.
Yeah, that one hit. I mean, that was close. That one hit right in the corner of that inbound marker. That was good placement.
Indeed. Good on the Mustangs for that one. Polster sends it over. Pelicans send it back. Mustangs pop it off in the air a couple times. Gupta sets it up. Bounces off, but the Pelicans recover and send it right over.
Good block back there by Phelps. She's been able to take a lot of that force from the back. Landis doing the same, though. The backcourt for the Mustangs. Hurley, over the net it goes, and a point for the Mustangs.
That was a hard-fought point, though.
Definitely.
Now this might be the deciding moment in this game where the Mustangs get all their momentum and sweep the Pelicans 3-0.
Oh my goodness, and trying to save it. That was Gerdner, and she couldn't quite get there, so now the Mustangs lead by 5.
Their biggest lead in the third game so far. Frankly, one of their biggest leads in the second game as well.
Well, this was their biggest lead in the second game. They only won it by 5. I mean, well, they did lead by 6 in the very early going, but they kept it close throughout. And that'll be a point, I believe, for Klamath Union.
Yes, indeed. It's got to be tough to be a Pelican in this court, though. Got to be honest.
Well, I mean, we talk about home court advantage, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But in reality, I mean, they're just as loud as we are, and that's the thing that's really keeping them in it. Is this student section, now they're getting loud, but I mean, when those Pelicans get a point, man, they are screaming, and you know that's great. I mean, it may sound like we're bashing them, but that truly does make this place feel like home. Polster sets it up for Hurley. Off the front from Gupta. Oh, she dumps it over the top. No, Landis, good awareness. Good job by Hurley there. Stayed in the same place, made the same play twice. The second time it works out, and it's 11-7 for the Stangs.
Keeping that good consistency up, Stangs. Indeed, let's go Stangs.
Let's go Stangs.
Well,
maybe next time, Stangs.
Yeah, I think we always speak too soon with this, I swear.
11-8 the score now off of the botched serve.
I think honestly, whenever we say like, "Oh yeah, go this team," you know,
go Stangs. Well, maybe next time.
Maybe next time. Oh yeah, the Pelicans got that. Oh well, maybe next time.
Maybe, yeah. Jesse, good job there, and
another point for the
was
Mustangs.
there.
Nice.
12-8. Interesting. I mean, that must have been some sort of miscommunication. No one from the Pelicans was there to take that one. They must have thought someone was going to set it up, but no one was there. In any case, Olivia Jackson with the serve. Hits it over right to Phelps, going back for it. A good save. DeVos dumps it over, or rather that was Polster.
Jackson
with the
over
save.
Jackson.
She
Tries
tried.
to save that, man, but ooh, I hope she didn't hurt her shoulder on that one.
You make a good point there. I mean, you say that a lot, and people might think, well, what are you talking about, Moshe? I mean, they're just falling over, but it's hardwood, and they're diving out for all these plays. They're laying it all out on the line every time they dive out like that, and truly it is impressive when they're able to pull off that play.
And then come right back up for more. Oh, that was a slam, but a little too hard of a slam as the Pelicans take a point there.
Within 2, they fought back in this one. They were down by 5 just a few minutes ago. Now only down by 2 is the setup. Landis, she tried to reach for that one, but
Missed it again, and it looks like the Pelicans may be able to tie this one off. I'm getting excited. See where this goes.
to 11. This is game 3 again. Hidden Valley, they're leading this series 2-0 so far. Good hit by Landis, but Gupta sets up Engelstetter over to Jackson.
Grace Landis sets it up. Oh, and it was just right in her hands, but wasn't quite able to send that back over the Mustang sides. Mustangs take a point. Now they lead 13-11.
And you could see the anger on Nielsen's face after that. I mean, that was right there, but it just took a bad bounce off of her forearm, and she was fired up. I mean, you saw her. She was screaming. She was angry there, and she definitely thinks she should have had that.
Oh, man. And yet another one right on the ground.
Now this is where you start to see, can Klamath Union keep their temper? Will they get angry every time they get that point? And that's one of the things you have to worry about, especially in high school sports with the younger athletes. I mean, can they keep their temper moving forward?
Indeed, it's going to be very interesting to see how they react with this. You know, I'm very curious to see, you know, can they keep their calmness? Can they keep their discipline as they're into the third game, you know, down 2-0. You know, they haven't really been leading the entire time. So, you know, it's interesting to see a team keep playing hard and to possibly even see them, you know, come back and take the lead from the Mustangs.
Yeah, I agree. They're within 2 again. That was a good job by Engelstetter up front, as well as Palace, both of them teaming up to get that point off on the Mustangs. 14-12, the score here in game 3. Keeping it close, as this one's hit off from Nielsen. Gupta.
The Mustangs set it up, aren't quite able. Well, looks like they got that one over. Never mind, I spoke too soon.
Unfortunate, there's your broadcaster's luck again, Moshe. I mean, Gupta had that one, she just hit it the wrong way. Sometimes that happens.
Oh, man.
15-12, the score in game 3. 2-0 the score of the match. Mustangs took the first 2. Again, this is game 3. Mustangs took the first one 25-15. Took the last one 25-20. A nice play by Gupta. She just tops that one right over. And just shoves that one back as the Mustangs, they like to get set up again, but maybe not before Palace. Oh, she stays put. Hurley in the back. He might have had some curve on that one as Phelps. She couldn't grab that one. 16-12 the score.
The Mustangs now lead by 4, and it looks like they're going to take a timeout.
16-12 the score on the Biomartin Game of the Week. You're watching HVTV1.com. Welcome back to HVTV1.com. It's the Biomartin Game of the Week. HVTV1 is brought to you by Southern Oregon Sanitation. For recycling, yard debris, and solid waste disposal, Southern Oregon Sanitation is your full-service transfer station. Open 7 days a week, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., located at 1381 Redwood Avenue in Grants Pass. 16-12 the score here in Murphy, Oregon, a Mustang court. The Mustangs lead 2-0 in the match, but in this game, it's a different story. They're leading by 4 over Klamath Union. The Pelicans have stayed and hung tough, and we'll see what they think about coming out of that timeout.
Mustangs now take another point, lead over the Pelicans 17-12. I don't know if you guys heard, but during the timeout, the Mustangs were singing one of our famous songs, Keep On Trucking, I believe.
Yeah.
I actually learned how to do that. I was a cheerleader for a brief moment, and if you guys want, I can even sing it for you after this game.
Well, maybe we'll take a pass on that one.
Yeah. Are you sure? I think I remember how to do it.
That'll be a point for Klamath Union, 17-13, and they're keeping a steady pace. They're down by 4. They've been down by 4 for quite a while, though. As Hidden Valley will get a point, Klamath Union will get a point. It's just gone back and forth, and we talked about this before Game 3. One of the things that's really lost these games for Klamath Union is their inability to string bouts together.
Indeed.
That one's knocked back over, but Jackson in the exact right spot. And that's dumped off by DeVos, but
Saved by the Pelicans as the Pelicans scramble to get their game on. Oh, and Olivia Jackson pops it up and saves it for the Mustangs. As the Pelicans set up.
it's a long one. Jackson sets it up for Hurley, and that's it. The Mustangs, they take 18-13. Great job there, but that was a long one and good play from both sides, but everyone's got to win it somehow, and there have been so many of those where it's just not gone the Pelicans' way, and it's just, I guess the word for it would be annoying because you work so hard, and there's more game to play. It's not heartbreaking exactly, but I think annoying is the right word, and they've got to be a little bit frustrated.
Certainly at this point, I would be, honestly. Just small little mistakes like that as the Mustangs take another point. The Mustangs are playing very, very well. Of course, we are out here to support our team.
The serve coming out from Mustangs, and good save up there from in front of the net. Hurley dumps that one off on the far side, and that'll be 19-13 as the Mustangs, they start to run away with this one, rather 20-13. But they start to run away with this one, and the end is near for the Pelicans, and it's definitely not what you want to see from Klamath Union's side, but Mustangs are the favorites coming into this one, and they're proving why in this third game.
Mustangs send it over. They just lost everything, I swear. Our student body. Wow. As the Mustangs now lead 21-13, we are going to take a 1-minute timeout. You're watching HVTV1. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the Weimar Game of the Week live on HVTV1.com. Tonight's event is sponsored by Burger Kings of Southern Oregon. Since 1954, our flame-grilled freshly prepared tradition goes into every order from Burger Kings of Southern Oregon. 21-13, the Mustangs can sniff this W.
Wow.
And they're close to it.
Indeed. With only 4 points until they win 3-0.
Good stop in the back by Phelps, scooped up. They set it up. Engelstetter, a good hit, but not before Hurley comes in and hits it right into the crowd, right in front of us.
In front of us.
Yeah. A little bit of a 3D action shot for you on HBTV1.com as that one came right for us.
Yeah, that was insane. We had to adjust the camera a little bit there, man. Whew. I was worried that one might hit us right in the face, but Pelicans take a point. 14-22 is the Mustangs' lead. However, it looks like the Pelicans will serve this one.
They got the point on that last one. They're still down by a considerable amount, down by 8. Good job by Landis laying it out for that one, and they'll get the point.
Looks like this is the final stretch. I think at this point, it's really down to who has the energy. You know, I mean, they're getting tired, definitely. I mean, both sides. Like,
well, it's for sure do or die time for the Pelicans. I mean, Hidden Valley isn't on match point yet, but Pelicans, they're going to have to keep this momentum going. It's 22-16 as they're within 6 now. Still a big hurdle to jump, but not an impossible one at that.
See if they can just keep up this momentum going.
That's another one.
For once, my words are right.
And that's a string of 4 in a row for the Pelicans coming out of that timeout. Great job from them as serving the ball back there. That's Engelstetter. Jesse sets it up. Hurley just dumps it off, and that's a point for the Mustangs. 23-17.
Mustangs are 1 point away from match point. Let's see what the Pelicans can do with this. This is their do or die. They are within reach, but not quite there.
They're within, what is that, about 6 points? I mean, they could definitely pull this off.
They just need a string, and who knows, maybe this is the beginning of their string.
Maybe the beginning of a great comeback from the Pelicans. They got a lot of room to go.
They can get out there, get their energy straight, focused. Let's see where the Pelicans can go with this.
And they've made this court their own with how loud they're being. It's almost like a neutral site game at this point as Jesse dumps it off. Phelps in the back, and that one's going straight to the bench, and that's a point for Hidden Valley. Unfortunate there, and now the Mustangs, they're going to have 7 match points to work with here as everyone gets on their feet.
Yeah, get on your feet, Josh.
Hey, listen, I'm here. 24-18, 7 match points for Hidden Valley as they look for their first win of the season. Top dumps it off.
All the action is out there tonight, and it all comes down to this. Well, maybe not quite.
Great save by Tom.
Oh, wait, never mind.
Wow, and Phelps gets back there too. Wow. So staying alive. The Pelicans, they are not willing to die just yet. 24-19.
I think I spoke a little bit too soon there.
They've got 6 match points now for the Mustangs. 24-19. Gupta with the serve, and that one goes out of bounds. What a way to end that game. That is unlucky. That is a terrible way to end this game, frankly. I would have expected much more, but in the end, 25-19. Hidden Valley takes this one 3-0. And that is just a heartbreaking defeat, but still smiles on their faces as they high-five right under the net. A good game nonetheless. 25-19, the score in Game 3. Again, Hidden Valley taking a game 3-0 as they start their season 1-0 in the Skyline Conference. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll be right with you with the My Circle K post-game show. Stay tuned for that. And you're watching the Weimar Game of the Week on HVTV1.com.
This week, stock up for less. Tide liquid laundry detergent is on sale, now $14.99. Hunt's snack pack pudding is now 89 cents each. Van Camp's baked beans are 99 cents a can. And Nichols Farms California pistachios are $9.99 for a 2-pound bag. Save with our everyday low membership pricing on these name brands and more at your Northwest grown employee-owned Buy Mart in Star, Cuna, and now open in Caldwell. You'll save every time you shop at Bi-Mart. This week, stock up for less. Tide liquid laundry detergent is on sale, now $14.99.
Welcome back to the Bi-Mart Game of the Week, live on HVTV1.com. The scores you see on the bottom of your screen, 3-0. Hidden Valley takes the lead, or the win rather, over Klamath Union. The scores of each game. Game 1. Take a look at that one. It was a much more convincing win for Hidden Valley, 25-15. Game 2, 25-20. And of course, Game 3, 25-19. Hidden Valley taking all 3. But first, I think what we got to do is, before we get into the post-game analysis, just frankly, right off the top of my head, the emotions coming. A great game played by the Klamath Union Pelicans.
Indeed, I would say that was a stunning performance. Honestly, they didn't win this one, but they certainly gave it so much effort, and you could see that. You could see the passion. You could see the feeling. There's certainly times I'm sure they had to be frustrated or tired and whatnot, but it just ended up being such a good performance on their part. And what can I say? They really did give it their all. They came to a different area. They're not on their home turf, and I'm a Mustang, but good on you, Pelicans, today. You played a good game.
Definitely, but it came close, but still no win. They didn't even win a single game. And the Pelicans, they've still yet to beat the Mustangs, and this is their 6th year going on that streak. So, again, they do play later on in the season in Klamath Union, but that's not for a good long while. As we take a look around the league tonight, other games going on around the skyline, you feel free to check out these scores on osaa.org for all your news surrounding fall sports in the 4A. Again, going on elsewhere in the skyline tonight, Phoenix, they played Henley. Again, the Henley Hornets, they're 1-0 on the season already, having beat North Valley last week. North Valley, they are also in Klamath Falls. They are playing the Vikings of Mazama High School tonight. Interesting to see how those games shape up, and that'll dictate where the Hidden Valley Mustangs are in the Skyline Conference moving forward. But in the top 10, the Mustangs ranked 8th, or rather 7th. And they're probably going to move up just a few spots after this win. Number 1 is Cottage Grove. They're 7-1. Again, they beat Hidden Valley on Tuesday, 3-0. They're at Sweeslaw tonight. Sweet Home is also 7-1. They're playing Cascade, rather. Number 3, Marshfield, 9-0. They're at home versus Junction City. Estacada, they travel to Banks. They're number 4 at 3-2. Number 5, LaGrande is 5-1. They're playing a team to be decided tomorrow in Baker. Number 6, Philomath. Again, 7 is Hidden Valley. Number 8 is Valley Catholic. Number 9, Seaside. And finally, rounding out the list is Banks at number 10. Klamath Union, they were at 13, but that's likely to change after the loss tonight. Again, this was only the first game of the Skyline Conference season. There is much more volleyball to be played. The next games you can catch on Tuesday, the 18th of this month. Henley, they are coming here to Hidden Valley to play the Mustangs. North Valley, they are going to Klamath Falls again to play this Pelicans team, who definitely put up a good showing tonight in Murphy. The Mazama Vikings, they are going to Phoenix High School to play the Pirates. And that's just about all we have for you tonight on HVTV1. This was the Bi-Mart Game of the Week on HVTV1.com. Again, the Mustangs win 3-0 over the Klamath Union Pelicans. The executive producers of HVTV1 are Dave Stone and Brian Miller. Special shout out to Jay Reese and Christopher Pendleton, the teachers of the New Age Media class at Hidden Valley High School.
Now let's talk about us.
Let's talk about us, yeah. Well, hey, that's you. You might as well give ourselves a shout out, right?
Yeah, exactly. I just wanted to say, it's been awesome, the past year that we've been doing this together, and, all the amazing opportunities I've had, all the amazing experiences I've had with Josh, and, I hope to be able to do this more and more this year, as I wasn't able to do it as much as I wanted to last year. But, it's a very, very fun thing for me to do. And, I really appreciate all the support that you guys are giving us. And
yeah, definitely. Thanks to all of our sponsors. We can run down the list one more time. From Burger King, Bi-Mart, Southern Oregon Sanitation, Oregon California Supply, Field Days Home Center, Papa Murphy's, of course, My Circle K, to run down the list. Thank you guys so much for supporting this first inaugural season of HVTV1 on YouTube. It's a big thanks to you guys that we're able to do this. And of course, Moshe, he loves to do it, as do I. Again, special thanks to Jay Reese, Christopher Pendleton, again, Dave Stone and Brian Miller for allowing us to do this here on HVTV1. And that's about all we have for you tonight. Again, the Mustangs, they take the W. And good night from Murphy, Oregon.